5 o'clock. According to Verizon, it's 5 o'clock, and I'll call our meeting to order. We'll all stand in just a minute, and Brother Hayden Bryson is going to lead us in prayer, and then Tracy Neal is going to lead us immediately afterwards in the Pledge of Allegiance. So let's all stand.
Our most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we pray that you'll be with us as we conduct our lives here on this earth. We pray that you'll give us patience and courage and strength that we may be able to do the things that you would like for us to do. We pray for forgiveness of the things that we leave undone or the things that we do wrong. We pray that you'll forgive us of those things. Father, we pray that you'll be with this governing body and let them use wisdom and patience to do the things that are helpful and beneficial to this county. Is our prayer in Christ's name.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Bobby, call the roll.
Mark Parker.
Present.
Russell Reed.
Here.
Todd Holliwell.
Here.
Jimmy Neal.
Here.
Jim Wood.
Here.
Kevin George.
Here.
Glenn Higgins. Tony Neal.
Here.
Jim Jones.
Here.
Chuck Holt.
Here.
I'm present. One absent.
All right. Number 4 on our agenda is reading and approval of the minutes.
Got a problem with the minutes, Mark.
Okay, we'll address that immediately. Let's, at what point is the, which one is it?
Be number 10, I guess, down there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It says here that I had made a report last month that no director from Cannon County was in attendance at the Homeland Security meeting. I reported that I had been informed that the EMA director was not there.
Okay.
As far as I know, other directors were.
As far as you know, the other one. All right, let's strike.
In addition,
You want to add to it? And you add to it that the EMA director was. How do you want us to amend it?
So strike out no directors
Okay.
and replace that with the EMA director.
EMA director. Okay.
Was not in attendance.
EMA director not in attendance. All right. Do I hear a second for that? Making that amendment to the minutes. Okay. All in favor, let me know by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Ayes have it. Then that will be amended in our minutes. Any other amendments, changes, corrections that need to be made? If you don't see any corrections, I'll entertain a motion that we approve it.
I make a motion.
All right, made a motion by Jim Bush, second by Kevin George. All in favor, let me know by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. All right, we approve this as our minutes. Reports of the county officials. Do any county officials have any reports other than the ones we're going to go through in other business?
Mike here?
Not right now, Diane. We don't have anything right now, okay?
There she is.
Moving on to number 6, county general budget amendments. You had them in your packet, and Diane Hickman has done an excellent job in putting a letter on each of them of what the attachments are. The first one is from the Sheriff's Department. And this is the deductible for the wrongful death lawsuit that we failed to win. Our insurance is taking care of the rest of it, but it does, just like any insurance, it has a deductible of $7,500. That is attachment A.
I thought that was being appealed.
It is, and we'll probably get that back if we prevail. That would be my opinion. Is that right? Do we get it back if we prevail? I'd say do, you would, and that sounds reasonable. Do we want to vote on all of these separately?
a bunch of them.
Okay, let's go separately. Sheriff's Department, judgment, $7,500. Do I hear a motion to approve it? Kevin George made it. Do I hear a second? Jim Bush, you want a voice vote or call a roll? All right, Jim says voice vote be fine. Since he made one made the motion, I'll go along with that. All in favor of the Sheriff's Department budget amendment, say aye. Aye. Opposed? No. All right, the ayes have it. The next one is local health. It's on attachment B. It's the special needs funding from the tobacco settlement. It's from the Tennessee Department of Health. And you've had it and you've read it.
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Chuck Holt. All in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Ayes have it. That's a tobacco education grant, or it was, for the audience that didn't have it. The next one is the farmer's market grant. It's attachment C. There's the contract, $23,600. And then one more for $1,000. You see those two grants? Do I hear a motion for the farmer's market grant?
Motion approved.
This is all for advertising?
No, actually, the 23.6 was to help pay off, help pay for what we did with the pavilion. So I won't put all that in advertising. I'll put like $5.99 is the charges account within that grant. I'll put, and then cover that line, and then the rest of it in the 421.
Okay.
And I'll get y'all another copy. I know that day I put advertising in there.
It's not all in advertising, it's all for the farmer's market. Jimmy Mingle made a motion. Do I hear a second? Todd Hosworth seconded it. All in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Moving on to miscellaneous budget amendments. The election office sent us a letter. They needed to move $622 in their budget, but that got that legal service that they needed is, I think, is finished now. Does everybody see that? Do I hear a motion to move the $622 for the election office?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Jim Bush seconded. All in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right. Now, we got the regular capital outlay. The notes that were issued, attachment E. Coming over from our previous meeting, this is the loan for $16,800. And it's supposed to have been signed on the 6th.
It was, and they're gonna mail us a copy of it. We don't have the actual one.
Okay, but you had a little attachment on your, I did on my copy that the loan was supposed to be signed on the 6th, and Diane says it was, for the light poles at the ball fields.
I thought we discussed this and it was supposed to move through debt service.
Well, it will, we have to, we'll pay the note back out of that.
They'll be paid back out of that service, that's how it gets back.
I was under the impression that this also included some wiring upgrade. Is that not the case?
When they replace the poles, they replace what wires that need to be replaced on the poles as they're there. That's my understanding of what the contractor, when he made the agreement with the county executive.
Well, we have a little bit of disagreement with that. I've been in contact with Mitch, which he was the overseer from S&W on this. Now, he took pictures and everything else of the wiring, and he said that there's gonna have to be some wiring repairs.
Okay.
So,
In addition to pole repair.
right.
What do you think? Well, I'll just take one step at a time, get the poles all, they need to be, practicing and those kind of things, and I'm just saying, let's take one step at a time. If S&W thinks we need some wiring upgrades, then I would entertain doing that, yes. But not till we get through the polls, because that was a pressing issue.
Right.
Polls are up, aren't they, Jim? Aren't the polls up?
The last of my knowledge, there's 2 left.
Okay. For them to do, that need to be done. I went by there last night at 8 o'clock, because I'd heard that there'd been a little bit of, questions about how the progress was going on.
Right.
And most of the lights were on, but I didn't walk out into the fields. And I noticed that 2 on one corner were not on.
Right.
And, but I didn't know whether they were cut off or deliberately, or they were not working.
To be replaced.
Okay, that's the 2 needs replacing.
Now, another thing, gentlemen, and you're welcome to call this gentleman here. His name is Mitch with S&W. I'll give you his phone number. It's 207-3327. He has pictures. He has documentation about the water. So, feel free to call him.
All right, we got a comment.
3327?
I'm gonna recognize them. What's your name?
Amy Nichols.
Go ahead.
They're saying that they aren't gonna be able to replace those other 2 poles because they're so close to the river that the ground is so wet right there that those poles aren't gonna be so hard to replace, they're gonna have to move the whole fence up.
Okay.
So I don't know how long it's gonna take them to do that. In the meantime, they could fix the wires. Or even get bathroom lights, because there's no lights in the bathroom down there.
Mr. Barker,
Yes, sir.
S&W pulled those last 2 poles out of the ground this morning.
Okay,
Those have been the background question.
that's good. Well, the ground has dried up.
And they've got them on the ground, and they're working on them now, and they said that they would be back post-haste.
Okay.
Those last
So the 2 poles, ground dries out when when March hits, the days get longer and the wind starts blowing, the ground gets dry pretty fast, doesn't it, Kevin?
They were there today working.
All right. Does that answer your question? Yes, sir.
Mine.
Okay.
The contract that you guys pushed through the last meeting was, the 9 poles were gonna be replaced, the cross arms were replaced, and any wiring that needs to be replaced. They're not doing that. They're repairing it with what they have. They got the pictures. Somebody needs to go out there and look at what's going on.
I've already
Boxes are not being fastened back in the right way. I mean, S&W, don't get me wrong, they do a good job. I'm not bad about them kind of things. But I brought up the simple fact that when they had those poles on the ground, they should have rewired them thin. You guys pushed it through to get the 9 poles. I know the essence of having those 9 poles repaired was an important thing. But everyone of y'all sat up there to say, let's repair the poles. Let's repair the poles.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Use it-
You're gonna let me talk.
use that same-
You voted to.
I'll let,
No.
whoa.
Wait, let me
But
finish.
listen, you can talk as long as you're telling the truth.
Okay, did you not vote for it?
I sure did, but I didn't vote for what you just said I voted for.
Did you not say that we're gonna repair the wire, the contract read? And Tommy Thompson, that's the
What we, whoa, what we voted on was what we were told. We were told that the poles would be replaced, the 9 that need to be fixed, and any wiring that needed to be fixed on those poles would be
You got
fixed.
pictures that say the wiring is bad?
You know when I found that out?
When?
Just now.
Just now.
When I got up here,
So now you've got 9 poles going up in the air with
Right.
faulty wiring. Wait a minute. That you're gonna have to now drive around with a bucket truck to fix, when they should have been fixed. And I suggested at that point, when y'all pushed this thing through, to repair the wiring when the poles were on the ground. Even if you had to spend $4,000 more, which I'm not saying that's what it was. I offered to my company to give the county everything they needed at cost. Did I not? Did I not?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Yeah. But here's the deal with the lights and the poles and the wiring. The 10 of us sitting here aren't the ones that are the administrators of this stuff. We don't sit down here all day and get paid to go make sure those poles get fixed. Our job is to decide what action needs to be taken, and somebody else, the guy that was standing there, is the one that's supposed to make sure the wiring was fixed.
Well, that's an issue you need to address with him because...
No.
Wait a minute,
See,
wait a minute.
the voter needs to address that with him.
That's right.
Not me.
You're exactly right.
See, sir,
And that's
what,
why he needs, go ahead.
I did exactly what needed to be done up here that night, and you're not going to say I
You was here at
didn't.
the last
Wait a minute,
meeting.
wait a minute. You have a
Let's
contract.
have order, one at a time.
You had a contract that said, I'm gonna buy this F-150, and this is what I'm gonna get. And you had that truck loaded, and you said that truck was gonna cost me $50,000 to get that truck, right?
Sounds like you're mad because I didn't buy the truck from you, so what I'm getting from you.
I don't care, I don't sell trucks because I'm not a crook. But anyhow, and I got that truck and I got $25,000 worth of stuff. Would you not think that I would be upset? We told you all before you voted.
You're assuming that we're not upset about it.
I'm just saying.
You're assuming, you're acting like we're not upset about it.
Sir, the thing
I
about
want
it
the
is,
wiring
if you was
fixed
here at the
too.
last meeting, if you sat there the last meeting and heard everything was said, and heard what was guaranteed us, when the poles went up, the wiring would be fixed.
Okay.
Okay, that's what was told
That's
us.
exactly right.
Now, don't you sit here and insinuate that we're sitting here and push something through when another person that's supposed to be running this county has made the comment that the poles would not go up unless the wiring was adequate.
And we don't,
So,
we're not
as long as
going
we've
to.
got that under control
Okay, I like it.
and understand.
Okay,
And who brought the subject up about the wiring? Me.
right, but who's been working on that wiring for the last several years? But everybody that could get out
That-
there, but I'm just saying.
We're talking
we-
right now.
Right.
We're talking present time.
Was not a contract presented to the county commissioners of what was going to be done?
No,
Nothing?
no.
So we pushed,
We didn't see a contract.
They was,
We don't
we
know
didn't
what
see no
was in the
contract.
that's what I'm saying, so we don't know why we spent $17,000 of our money to repair something. Don't get me wrong, it needed to be done, but we should have spent the money to get what we needed done while we're doing that. That way, if we spend an additional $2, $3, $4, whatever $1,000, that we should have done it while we were doing it.
Well, see, this is the understanding we had with Mr. Gannon when it was done. We realized the 16.8 was not going to be the end of it because they were going to be wiring issues. And he told us that they would be repairs. Gentlemen, am I right or
That's
not?
what, I mean, and I.
That was the understanding.
But the pressing issue is
Okay,
the pole.
well, all right, we're getting to that. But what I'm telling you, the wiring is going to be fixed, okay? Whether or not, it was supposed to have been done like we were told at the present of last meeting, the wiring will be fixed, okay? So, I mean, it's going to be a no issue. The wiring will be taken care of. I'll give you my word on that.
Did I not bring it up immediately in this meeting that I understood that this was part of the original deal?
What I thought.
That's what we all understood.
That's what we understood.
Like I said, I'm sorry for saying what I said.
Well, that's
but how I
fine.
said it, But you gotta understand, it just didn't make common sense to push something through or to vote on something with no contract that says this is what we're gonna do.
Well-
Mr. Todd stood right back there and said, we need to read your contract. He said that 3 or 4 times. Read the contract, make sure what they were, and at that time, Mike Gann stood right there, just like he done 3 or 4 times before that, and said blah, 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 blah. And that's exactly what we heard. Exactly what we wanted to hear, but did we get what we wanted to hear? No. I'm just shut up.
I don't think any of us
You need
have signed
to
a
go
contract, have we?
downstairs.
No.
Wait a minute, does the poles they've got up, does the lights work on?
Some do, some don't.
Some don't
But
work.
if you're using the existing wire,
They all work, Mr. Magle. Some of them need bulbs replacing, and they're in the process of doing that, but all the poles that they have put up, all those lights work.
Then that's what they're
The
supposed
only
to do.
one, there was the little field in the front, the poles carried the Middle Tennessee Electric's wire, the feed wire to the other 2 poles. So those are the only 3 poles that are not running.
When you say if the wiring don't get nice, it will be.
It's got to work on it, come hook them up.
That ain't what they want.
All right, let's go back to what we're.
Can we see a
voting
copy
on.
of the contract, where the, people put the, light?
Probably. You probably can, but we
I'd
don't
like
have
to
it
see,
in front
I'd
of
like
have
to
it
see a
with-
copy of the contract, see how it's written.
We don't have it with us.
We don't have it with us.
We get Mike. He's
At
down
the-
there all the time.
I'm just saying, what y'all voted on was everything was gonna be fixed, it was gonna be up to code. But Mike Anderson stood there, right there, and told you county commissioners to get that voted through, to get that money, was right there, and he just both-faced lied.
How can you say that you trust S&W contractors and then on the other hand say that it's not good enough though, what they put back up?
Because
They put the same thing that was there up again, and they told me
Well, copper wire lasts a long time.
there's no coating on it at all.
All the copper wires in Woodbury are naked. You know, in certain situations, a wire does not need a
kids are
coat.
turning the lights off and on. I mean, how many kids have you got that's turning?
Why
the
are we
lights
letting
off?
kids turn the lights on and off?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Kids shouldn't
I
be
can't
turning it
control
off
what
and on.
goes down
But we
there because
voted
there's no
to
gates to
get
lock the
those
place
wires
up.
replaced.
Anybody
That's
can
what we
go and
voted
turn the
for.
lights
That's what
on.
Mr. Gannon
I
said
mean,
we
I
were
don't have
gonna
any
do.
control of that.
Didn't happen.
Do we not have a parks guy that takes care of stuff?
Darryl Fisher takes care of a lot of it, and he says that
Hey,
it's,
I put locks on those disconnect boxes 4 years in a row, and guess what happens to them?
They get cut off.
Somebody gets cut them off, and then they get thrown away every year. We give keys to the coaches and people that want them, and for some reason, one bunch will show up, want the lights on, people are not there that's got keys, and bam, they just cut the locks off.
I'm gonna make one more, is that it, Darryl? Yep. Make one more recognition, and we're gonna go back to our vote.
I've
Yes,
got
ma'am.
2 more things. This is my first meeting I've ever been to.
Okay.
And I'm gonna get personal. When my kids are on that field and it starts storming and those wires are not covered and my kids get hurt, I will not be one happy mama. I just want my kids taken care of. That's it. That's all I want.
Well, when it's storming, you shouldn't be anywhere
Well, until
around
lightning
any
is
pole.
seen, they do not take them off the field. That's how it's always been. Jim can vouch for that. He's played ball too. And if something happened, all those kids are at danger. My granddaddy has told me since I was little, you take care of the youngins because they'll be taking care of you. And if we don't look out for them, who's going to?
Well, we want to look out for them, and we want to see that the poles and the wires pass whatever inspection they need to pass.
I was
I'm
under the
sure you're
impression that this was gonna be taken care of prior to our season starting, and I've got kids down there practicing now. And I've had to make phone calls to S&W myself to find out what's going on, because they sit down there for 2 weeks and the poles hadn't been touched. So I called, and I believe his name was Jason at S&W, who I've been talking to, and he told me that they would not reconnect that stuff because that opens them up for a huge liability. Not only that, but those old, junction boxes that they're running back up those poles, I was there the other day whenever they caulked the top of it because it won't go back together after they took it apart. So how long is that caulk gonna last, and who's gonna go back up there and fix it whenever it runs out? I mean, I just want this done. I'm tired of dealing with it. I'm not coming to another meeting. I'm done with this. I can turn my keys in and you guys can take care of the ballpark because I don't get paid for my meetings. I don't get paid to make hundreds of trips to Woodbury every other day to take care of this ballpark. And I shouldn't have to deal with this right now. You guys should do your part and take care of this ballpark, whether it goes through Mike Gannon or goes through you guys. I don't care. I just want it done and I want it done right.
That's what we want.
That's what we'd like to do too. But
Okay, so
things
what we
take
gotta do to
time.
make this happen?
That's what,
We need to get
that's what I
bids,
thought we
find
voted
out.
on to begin with.
I mean, let's get it done. That's all I'm asking. Let's just get it done.
Okay, let's get back to the attachment E. You have it in front of you. That's the 16.8 that we voted on last time. Do I hear a motion to approve it?
I'll move to approve it.
All right, do I hear a second?
On the 16.8?
16.8.
16.8.
Yeah, well, no, it's 23.3 total,
Yeah,
the 16.8 plus
Well, I got a question about the 8,500.
Yeah, I do
plus
too.
the 8,500. All right? What's your question about the 8,500?
How come we ain't putting this on county land? We got 5 acres sitting over yonder at the end of College Street that the IDB says ain't big enough for a factory or anything to put on.
You want to separate these two and vote for the 16.8 first?
Probably ought to.
Okay, let's do that. So I've got a motion for the 16.8. I got a second, I thought it did.
I'll take it. I'll do
Okay.
it.
Let's vote for the take a vote on the 16.8 alone for the lights at the ball fields for the poles. And it doesn't include the 8,500. All in favor, let me know by saying aye. Any opposed? All right, moving on to the 8,500. Diane, do you wanna just help me out on that?
Did we vote to borrow the money for that? The 8,500?
Yeah, we done passed it, I don't
Yeah.
understand.
We're just approving or moving the money.
Yeah,
That's for the ambulance center, which it definitely needs to be close to the
But doesn't,
hospital.
everything over the 200 and
And that's,
something thousand's gotta come
Same
out.
argument about,
Ambulance service fund.
nursing home too. Need to be close to it.
Anything over, what was that?
So that,
But
like, will that have to be
I thought
paid
the
back out of ambulance
gonna be
service, or will it
free.
have to be paid back out of that
That's
service?
our original.
well, free land is hard to come by.
Well, that
does-
was the
Here-
consensus of what we went with this anyway. That it, you know, we were
What?
sat here and told at the time,
Well, we already voted to borrow the money.
No, y'all
No.
y'all approved
Approved
it.
the plan back in December according to the meeting.
Right.
Minutes, I wasn't here.
and then we
Up
also.
to $8,500 or
And
whatever.
then we also said that whatever the difference was between the grant and that would fall back on the ambulance service to repay.
We said, we did that last February.
Right.
And when we started all this, we said everything
Right.
over the grant, anything, any pennies over the grant
Right.
would come out of ambulance service. So, I guess I'm wondering, my biggest question is whether this will be paid, this 8,500 be paid back out of debt service or paid back, will there be money moved out of ambulance service fund and back over into debt service to cover the 8,500 to make the,
We're paying out of that service.
Has the deal been made on the lot?
yeah, but to stay true to that vote in February, everything has to be paid over the, I guess we have to take part of that grant money and pay that back. See, in February, last February, when we voted on starting this ambulance service thing, we said that anything over the grant would be paid for out of debt service. I mean, out of ambulance service fund.
Actually, the lot can't be paid for out of the grant money, was the way I understood that.
And that's fine.
Yeah. It can't
And
be
you
paid for
you
at
get a
all.
note for it, and you pay for the note out of debt service, and then you take $8,500 out of the ambulance service fund, slide it over into debt service, and that covered it. And that way you stay true to that vote that was done in
And you can do
February.
that just like the schools.
We'll have to
They
do-
put
we'll ha-
250,000 in the debt service every year, you know.
Right, we'll have to do that during the budget,
Yeah,
to
during
move that in the
time.
budget.
What if they don't service that much money?
Well, we'll have to fund ambulance service enough if they can do that.
Well, what I understood from Ricky in February was that they could cover anything over the
Right, their money
245
for
or
it.
whatever it was.
And they probably.
Because I asked him, I point blank asked him, can you do it? Can you pay for it? Is it gonna have to come out of county general? And no, we can pay for it. So we voted to do it that way, and it would all be paid over, anything over the grant would be paid out of the ambulance service fund.
But this,
And it'll have to come out of that
well, that's something we'll discuss in the budget.
to
When we
stay,
set up- when
to
we
stay
set up
true to
their
that vote.
budget. When Ricky brings his budget to us, we'll
We'll have to make sure
We'll
that all,
address that.
keep that all straight.
and see, the schools put money in debt service too, see?
That's
for some of
right.
Their capital stuff that couldn't work. Okay. Is there enough discussion on the 8,500 then? Do I hear a motion to,
I'll make a motion to approve it.
okay, do I hear a second?
True.
Kevin George seconded. And all in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Got two opposed, Jim and Russell.
Well, that wasn't the agreement we made.
And the motion passes 7-2. Okay, that's getting back to our agenda. That's all the budget amendments. Y'all know it's not. Do you want to put your budget amendment in now?
That'd be fine. That'd be fine.
While we're talking about budgets, I'm going to recognize the audit committee needs a budget amendment. They have a tiny, tiny budget, and we don't need to be asking them to travel on their own funds. Go ahead, Glenn.
The committee has $45 in their training category. And we used that $45 up on my trip up to Overton County to help them train. It was actually put in there to train us, but we used it to train another county. And we had an opportunity to go to Cookville this past Friday on a CTAS session called County Financial Issues. So I went up there, and to cover all this, I would like permission from the commission to take $65 from our consultant category, which we have $200 in, and put it into our mileage category to cover that.
Do I hear a motion to move $65?
Motion.
All right.
Even I can make a decision on $65.
Chuck Holt made it, and who seconded it? Kevin seconded it. All right, thank you, Glenn.
Thank you very much. We didn't want finding on this.
All in favor, let me know by saying aye. Aye. You can move that $65. That's, I wish everything else was that easy, and I wish everything was
I don't want any audit findings on the audit committee.
All right. Now, number 7 has already been taken out of our agenda. Number 8 is the resolution to name the bridge on Doolittle Road, Macon A. Davenport Memorial Bridge, and it's got the bridge number right there that the state requires. And whose district is that in? Jimmy's. All right, y'all go ahead.
I'd like to make that motion.
Okay. All right, got a motion and a second from the 2 commissioners from that district. And I think it's good to...
If he didn't have that mean old boy, it'd be a lot easier, wouldn't it?
It's good. When I came up to the meeting tonight, I passed the P.J. New Memorial Bridge on the new highway, and many people probably don't know who P.J. New was. Have you seen the? And it was one of the first ones on the 4-lane that was a name in memory of somebody. Does anybody know who P.J. New was?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bobby Smith.
He was the weatherman.
That's right. He was from County. He was a weatherman from the National Weather Service in Nashville. And you'd hear his voice on WSM, one of the most powerful stations in the Southeast, every day. And he was from County. Taught school here when Daddy was in school.
Yeah.
What year was that?
That was a long time ago.
Bobby's the only one in the room that remembers him.
No, I knew who it was because Daddy did.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing to memorialize people in the past, and that, is a good thing. And it's your father, right? That's right. All right. We got a motion and a second to memorialize Macon A. Davenport. All in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, and we're glad to do that.
Thank you very much.
Number 9.
Making Mickey, ain't it?
I was torn with Mickey or Macon. It wouldn't terrorize him any way you need it.
Everybody knows he was making them.
Macon or Mickey.
Not when he was young, he didn't.
See, I didn't.
He's Mickey
I
then.
never heard him called Mickey.
He's one raised on Pleasant Ridge.
No, I wasn't.
Number 9, resolution asking the Tennessee General Assembly to more equitably distribute local option sales tax collected by online retailers.
How would that work?
Pardon?
How would that work?
All right, here's the way it's gonna work. The county executive talked to me, Mike talked to me about putting this on the agenda. Some other counties that he's aware of have already done it. You remember the state legislature is going to start collecting sales taxes on companies like Amazon or anybody else that does online things, online sales. And they've got the authority to do that now. If you buy then from somebody that's an online retailer and you happen to be in this county, then this county will get the sales tax if the state gets that sales tax. If they live in Warren or Rutherford, then those counties would get it. So we want to, and it says, equitably distribute the local option sales tax, and that's the local option part too. And then the part, and it goes to the county. So we want to be sure to get our part of any sales tax that's collected, not just leave it to Nashville to,
If and when it happens.
if and when it happens, that's right. But we're trying, he's trying to be ahead of the game and get our name in the pot for our part.
Glad I'm not doing the accountants for these people.
All right. Do I hear a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
All right.
I'll second.
All right. Jimmy Mangle seconded it. All in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And Bobby, you mark it everybody down that's present when we do a voice vote. And the only one that we've had any two is ones that I noted.
Okay.
All right?
Who seconded that motion?
Jimmy Mangle.
Who made the motion?
Tony Neal made it.
Okay.
And it passed 9-0.
What happened?
And one absent, that's right. Number 10. You have that in your packet also. There is a move across the state to name State Route 1. Now, that's also known here as Highway 70S. But it was the first, it's the first of the numbered roads in the state. That's why it's got number 1 on it. It goes from Bristol to Memphis. It was once known as Broadway of America. And there was a movement to name it the Gold Star Families Memorial Highway. It will not take away John Bragg Highway or anything else that's along the way, but the whole route of State Route 1 will be named the Gold Star Families Memorial Highways. And I think most of you are aware of what a Gold Star family is. It was the families that lost loved ones starting in World War II, I think. Is that correct? Some historian help. It was started in World War II, and they were Gold Star families. And that has been continued since then for families that have lost. And it's just to memorialize them, and it will probably be some plaques put up along it to continue that. Do you want to support that resolution?
Make a motion to support it.
Okay. And Chuck Holt, Jim Jones made it, and Chuck Holt seconded.
Wait a minute, Mark.
No, I have a question.
Oh, you have a question? Excuse me.
All right, if any local person, for any reason, wants to have part of the highway named to honor them, does that mean that we cannot do it after we pass this right here?
No, according to what I asked Mike about it, and you can look at it, let's see, what is we've got it in our packet right here.
Probably
Did you see anything in the
find it
packet
right, don't we?
that made you think that that was the way it was? Let's see, right here, where's it at? Well, I don't think so. Because he asked them, Mike asked them about John Bragg Highway, for instance, because it memorializes John Bragg, who was from Cannon County. And they said, no, not at all. And that's the answer that I got.
My question is, if we pass and approve this, okay? If we pass and approve this, at any given time, we can name any portion of the road or bridge or whatever we would like to in honor of a Cannon County person.
According to Mike Gannon, you can.
That's the reason I'm asking.
Well, the
question.
names of it all still has to go through the state. This is all the counties, and I think there's 30-something counties that are along State Route 1 are asking the state to do that, to memorialize the Gold Star families. You see what I'm
Do you
saying?
have any idea what the other counties have did?
Well, we're not the first one. And as far as I know, they're all going along with it.
Basically, this is saying.
And the wiring will be
we'll pay to
fixed.
Put the signs up.
They're asking us to put up the signs. That's
This
it.
And it'll be the highway department that does that, not
Yeah.
County
The state
General, not the
department.
ambulance service, not anything like that.
Where you're coming from?
And the same is true with any other signs that you put up, whether last month we had another bridge.
You got a motion in a second?
But again, too, yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I also heard earlier about the wiring at the ball field. So, in other words, this is the person that we're going to have to trust and believe on what's going on.
Correct. Welcome to being a commissioner.
We got a motion and a second on the floor to go along with it.
I didn't second it. I did not.
I know you
second it.
didn't.
Well, I don't see the word exclusively Gold Star Highway anywhere in this.
No. Did you say it? Who did?
Yeah, I mean, don't. I'll
All right, we got a
I'll
motion.
second it.
We got a motion and a second. Do you want me to voice vote it?
Yes.
All right, all in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
All right. Chuck Holt is in opposition to it. And then 8 for it, and the resolution passes. Number 11, a resolution asking the Tennessee General Assembly to fully fund the state tax relief program for the disabled and elderly property owners of our state. As you know, the disabled and the elderly get a tax break on their property taxes, and the state has been funding that to a certain portion, and they want them to fully fund that. And that would take more of the burden off the local people fully funding it.
I'll make a motion.
All right.
I'll second.
Motion made by Kevin George, seconded by Jim Bush. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. All right, it passes 9-0.
How old you gotta be before you get out of it?
You're not old enough.
Older than you.
There are
You just have to be
income
disabled.
requirements as well as elderly. You could be 99 years old and roll in a wheelchair, but if you've got plenty of means, then you don't qualify for it.
So you're out.
You're out.
Well, I got
got a
me over there.
Or if you don't have any means, but you're able to do.
Number
I just wondered,
12.
I'm
You get
getting
on- they
close
got a lot of
to,
stuff
I'm
for
getting
that.
close to elderly.
Number 12, resolution asking the Cannon County Legislative Delegation to the Tennessee General Assembly to take necessary action to place a question of the location of the final segment of Highway 70S on the Cannon County ballot in the next Tennessee general election and a public referendum.
That would be the August election.
That'll be the August.
It'll be the November election. We cannot do it in the August
Yeah.
election. It has to be the general, a state.
The general,
Yeah,
the state general. It's not the,
Not a local.
that is the state primary, see, the August is. It's our general,
That's
but it's the
correct.
state's primary, and so it will be the November election.
Can we not get this in the August election to be a bigger voter turnout?
Well, but you'd have people,
Why can't we get it, Corey?
They won't allow you to do it. in a-
How are you gonna get the Republican candidates on that ballot?
he won't know how you get the Republicans to vote in that.
How are you gonna get the Republican candidates on that ballot if it's too late to get something else on there?
I'm not,
He didn't say it was too late to get done there. He said the state
The
wouldn't
state
let
won't
them.
allow it.
Okay.
the state will let
It has to be done in the November election. It can't be done in the primary election. It's the state primary is in August.
That's the state primary.
That's the state primary. Our primary is May.
Correct.
local primaries in May,
And the
and
state
our local
primary
general is in August, the
And the
local,
general election for the entire state, your senators, all that's in November.
and the state primary is in August, and then the November, the state. Everybody got that clear in their heads?
Clear as mud.
The bill filing deadline for the legislature to pass, this ain't gonna be affected by that.
That is beyond Corey, which means I don't know.
Well, I'll take it.
I hate to tell you, that's really kind of a Mark Cody question, and I can follow up.
Well, that's the
Email
reason,
y'all.
that was the reason I was asking. He said.
I'll step back and call him.
He said at his meeting.
Oh, don't worry about that.
Don't worry about
Let's
it.
get this elect done, and whenever he gets it on there, we'll get
Okay,
it.
I mean, it may be next year before you get it
Well, I'm
on.
not sure about that. I think they can still,
They may be able to. sneak
they
it
can
in
bring
right now.
things up.
Be an election next year.
That's right. They can, but the Mark Cody can bring something like this up.
Which costs more money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are ways that they can bring something up like we do under other business.
You may be-
Okay. Any other questions? Do I hear a motion to ask the state legislature, Todd Hollingsworth and Jim Jones? Made the motion and second. All in favor, let me know by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Ayes have it. All right, that gives us now to number 13. Any old business that we need to take care of? Something that's left over from the last meeting,
Yes, sir.
before we go to new business.
I think at the last meeting, I think the commission asked me to see what I could find, check in on some of the areas in the county that sort of kind of felt like that was wasteful and spending, using property that's not properly used correctly, different things that basically costing the taxpayers money. And I did. But the way I want to start out, I want to find out does the commission really want to know, do they care what was found? Because from
Well,
what,
how long is it gonna take?
Did you find anything illegal?
I think I have,
Because if you found something illegal, then
but
you need to be drafting a letter.
what I call illegal, maybe some others don't. Because what I thought was wrongdoing, and I have proof that I could show anyone that it is, according to the way some grants was written, was wrongdoing, then therefore, when I sat down across the table from Mr. Mike Gannon and asked him for his definition of wrongdoing, I didn't get a direct answer to tell me what is wrongdoing according to him. And the department that I'm referring to is the one that falls strictly under his control. So if it matters, I can go further, because I would also like to table what I found so far until the next meeting, because I've still got some other things that I'm into looking at that I've just received paperwork Saturday, and I'd like to go with it a little bit further, and I'd like to make this report at next month's meeting, if that will be possible.
Okay.
Let me make a suggestion. When you're doing all that, if you find something that you think is illegal, you are obligated and bound as a commissioner to report it to the comptroller's office. Okay? If you tell us, then we're obligated and bound. So therefore, when you bring it to us and you tell us what you just told us, that you think there's something illegal, then you need to write us up a letter explaining to the comptroller everything that you think is wrong. And then we vote on it. We'll take everything you got and send it to the comptroller's office and let them investigate it. And what they'll do when they investigate, they will investigate it. We've done it twice since in the last couple of years. If you don't do it that way, what you wind up with is you'll wind up with people that can out-talk you, out-think you, standing up here making you look dumb. And they done it to me. The best way to handle that is you get out everything you think you know, and you write down all of that down, and you bring it to us, and we'll look at it, and we'll vote on whether to send it. And if we think that there's cause for suspicion, then we'll send it. And then it's out of our hands, and it's up to somebody that has the power to bust a door down and find out what's really going on, instead of me and you who get jerked around and led around and lied to and everything else. That's Kevin's advice.
The next question would be, anything that comes in on a grant, does it not belong to Cannon County?
I don't know. Some things that come in on some grants are specifically, what's the word I want to use, Randall? Designated for this department, or and I can't. That's this. When you're asking me that, I'm telling you right now, I don't know a lot of this stuff. And when I try to figure it out, try to find it out, because I go to work every day and don't have 8 hours to sit down there and figure out how to beat me, I get beat. So if you think there's something in there illegal, you write it down and you bring it back to us, and then we'll all look at it, and then you're not out there by yourself saying this is wrong, it's illegal. We're all in it together, and we are all making sure that it goes to the right people. Mark and I both can we'll know where to take it to.
I think what he's telling you, Chuck, is better to hang together than hang separately.
It's also better. It's also, but before you stick your finger out on the table there for somebody to smash it with a hammer, make sure you know. And if you think it's illegal and we think it's illegal, we'll send it and make sure that it's checked.
And that's the reason I have it in black and white, a copy of everything. And that's the reason I'm asking right now.
Sit down.
Wait until next month.
Just sit down with a piece of notebook paper and just write down everything you think is not right. And with each one of those, number them and write that number on that paper that makes you think it's not right. And then when we send it up there, they can investigate each one of those things, and they'll know, and we'll know. We'll get a report back, and they'll say, nothing's found. Or they'll say, we found this, but it could be this or could be that. You know, I mean.
And the comptroller is not anybody that's here in the county. It's a totally outside and totally unbiased, and they aren't.
The comptroller in the state of Tennessee
They aren't running
is
for any office or anything like that.
And they are, what's the word on it? They're on opposite sides of the political spectrum from the politics here.
Supposedly neutral then, right?
They're neutral.
Even if not neutral.
They're as neutral as an individual can be.
Apolitical, I think is what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have anything to do with politics.
That's Kevin's advice. You do what you want to do.
Kevin's giving you
Will it
good
be all right
advice.
if I contact you and speak to you?
Sure.
Okay,
Absolutely.
and that's the proper way to do it. You know, just like the audit committee right there, if they found something wrong, they would report it to the comptroller's office. Isn't that right, Glenn?
But supposedly,
If
they've
you
already
couldn't
been
get it
through a
resolved here.
special audit and come out smelling like a rose, and I don't see how that can happen. When you got figures, when you start adding them up, don't equal what's showing on grant.
But that's how you get your finger smashed. Not being
Okay.
able to see how that happened. My finger's been smashed a lot.
Any other old business needs to bring brought up.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna move on to new business. We got Tim Bell is here. He said he was gonna be brief.
That don't happen. Can we look at our watch and tell our calendar?
Yeah, I got my copy.
We're going to do that in a minute. That's new business. You don't let me forget that. I had it on my mind a minute ago.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for allowing me to speak. Members of the board.
Let's give him our attention.
So what I'm going to give you there is a bit of homework, some from reading. I appreciate if y'all at a time other than tonight take a look at this. I've probably got about 20 hours worth of work in here. I'm going to start off just kind of give you the highlights here on the left side of the packet is a annual report. This is something that this is the second year we produced this. We're not required by anybody to produce it. However, it does make us more competitive for private foundation grants. Of note, what I want you to look at is, and if you have any questions when I get through, Chief Underhill will be happy to stay here at 10 o'clock tonight and answer any questions that you got. But last year, we had 28 responders that had a combined service of 238 years of service to Cannon County. That's a big number. We trained a lot of folks last year, not only internally, but externally. People came from out of county to some of our training. If you'll look over on page 12 of that annual report there, you'll see how kind of the breakdown of our call volume. Our call volume has really went up in the last 5 years. And there's a couple reasons for that. One of it is we now have more equipment, and more training, and more capability. So we're doing more emergency calls, but we're also doing more community support calls, like taking our ranger and our trailer over to the high school for them to use during football games instead of having to take the ambulance out on the field and run it up. They use our equipment if they need to. We're helping out the Lions Club with their blood drives, providing manpower for that. So last year, we had our members donated 1,916 hours of time to the county. And if I used a calculated value from the Bureau of Labor Statistics for fire rescue personnel, that means that our members donated basically $49,000 worth of time to the county last year. So on that left side of the page there, you can see our run data. And like I said, you can look at that at any time whenever you can. What I really want to direct your attention to is the document that's over on the right side of your packet. That's the strategic plan that we put together. It's the second one that we put together for the organization. The first one we put out, it was a 10-year strategic plan, and it's too broad. So we rewrote the plan and narrowed it down, although we were able to do most of the things that we said we were going to do. This plan, and I'm going to ask you to turn over to page 16, the first 15 pages, I'm sorry, page 12, first 11 pages describe what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. Page 12 talks about the things that we need to do in the next 5 years. One of those is we need to replace a rescue truck. That's going to be about $135,000. About $18,000 for rescue equipment on that truck, $72,000 in other rescue equipment, and in a facility to house all this equipment. So that comes up to about $350,000. Now, in a 5-year span of time, we think that we can fundraise about $50,000 of that. That leaves a $300,000 chunk of money. So how are you going to get it? Well, there's a couple of different ways of getting it. One of it is to have a strategic plan and show what you want to do. It's nice to ask for money from these foundations and stuff, but when you can prove what you do and why you need the money, you're more likely to get funded on things. Another way is through the HUD CDBG grant. Will pay for up to $300,000 for fire rescue EMS type operations. That's the grant that you just got on the ambulance service. The only caveat is whenever you apply for that, you cannot do a water grant that same year. So I'm not asking you to do any to approve this. This is more or less FYI. But just to give you some kind of statistics, trauma is the leading cause of death from age 1 to 44. Right? I'm still under that 44-year-old limit so far. I'm getting closer every day. You're twice as likely to die in a car crash in a rural environment than you are in an urban environment. You're 3 times more likely to die of all trauma-related accidents. That's farming, industry, and everything, recreational, in a rural environment than you are in an urban environment. The government has come out with some new regulations on vehicles. And it doesn't matter if it's a Mercedes-Benz or if it's a Nissan Pathfinder. They all have to meet certain requirements. So over the last couple of years, we've been trying to update our tools. And you know, this last year, you guys gave a little bit of money. We were able to get some USDA grant funding to upgrade some of our tools, but we still have more tools that are going to have to be upgraded over this next 5 years. Phase-in on these new vehicles started in 2012, and it'll go up to 2016 by the time that phase-in on these new motor vehicle standards go into effect. So, like I said, there's no, I'm not asking you to take any action on this tonight, but this is what we project that we need to continue to provide the same service that we're providing now, because stuff wears out. Our oldest truck is a 1988 model F-350. It had 100,000 on it when we got it and put it in operation. So it's getting old. We've been able, the truck that we bought 5 years ago, we did really good on that. We were able to subcontract that out and build it ourselves. And we saved a lot of money by doing that. But any new federal grant that you use to apply for that sort of stuff has to be NFPA or National Fire Protection Association rated. Just like ambulances have to be rated, fire trucks have to be rated. If you use federal funds to purchase equipment like that, you have to meet a certain standard, which means the cost goes up. Okay? So, questions or comments?
I appreciate you putting all this together for us. And you all need to know that they'll be making this request to the Budget Committee also. And
we're not going to ask for $350,000.
No, but we're going to be helping them to continue to do the good work that they do.
Well, how much are you asking?
Okay. Anybody got any questions for Tim? Take that home and look at it and study it. Thank you. And back to the old business. Thea, do you have any report for the multi-county board that you're on, and we don't have a, who did we put on there? Chuck. Okay. Do you have any report of that? Have y'all had a meeting yet?
We haven't met
Okay.
lately because this is the time of year when the state requires an annual report of all activities with solid waste and recycling for 2013. And I've been working with Diane and with Alfred Cumberland representative to put that into an electronic report that you see in the streets. And at that time, we'll have more information to share.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to recognize the Industrial Development Board now. Randall Reed, under new business.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you all remember, and for those that weren't on the board at the time, 2 years ago you reconstituted the IDB. And we started out with 7 members. And at that time, we all agreed, and it was set up, that we would rotate off every 2 years. Two are rotated off in this year, actually June of this year, and 2 next year, 2 in 2 years, and then the remaining 3 in 2 more years. So that's how we set it up, and that's how it worked. We met last Tuesday, and 2 names were submitted. I'm going to share both of them with you. Clark Hollis, who lives at 184 Hollis Lane, Woodbury. He and his wife and family live there. Tim Powers, who lives at 213 Cooper Hollow Road in Auburntown. He and his wife Jennifer and their children. These 2 men will be taking my place and Dean Moore's place. And I'll submit their names for your all approval. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I'll give you.
Does it have to be approved tonight?
I think we can, because they've already made their a selection, and they're just giving it to us to.
We can, but it don't have to be.
It don't have to be. That's right. When do you go off?
June.
June.
We have to have something.
We've got to have somebody in place by June.
You really need somebody in. Y'all have meetings every month, or y'all just
Yes.
need to have somebody in there a couple of meetings ahead of time so they can go and see how that's done right before Randall leaves.
That's what we're hoping.
They need to get there in time.
Corey thinks we can act on that tonight also.
You know those people? You know the one?
Tim Powers.
No, personally, I don't know him. I know there's a Tim Powers lives up there in Cooper Hollow, but I don't
You know him?
I'm same as Jimmy.
Have y'all interviewed these people? They have interviewed these people.
We've interviewed these people, and what we're doing here is we established a precedent when Doug Beaudry rolled off, when he moved out of the county. He actually selected his person. If you recall, that was Burton Mason. And we interviewed Burton, and he came before the board, and the board voted on Burton to replace Doug, so we voted on these 2 men to replace Dean and myself.
That's right. And then y'all brought Burton to us also. We that very night, we voted on it.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All right, got a motion by Kevin George, second by Todd Hollingsworth, to place Clark Hollis and Tim Powers on the IDB board for the expiring terms of Dean Moore and Randall Reed. You got that, Cynthia?
Yes.
Okay. And we got a motion and a second. All in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? You vote no?
No.
Okay. It passed unanimously. Nobody. It was unanimous. You're second, right?
I was answering your question.
Thank you all.
All right. Yes, sir. And I appreciate y'all doing the work that you do on the IDB board, both of you, and it seems to be going well, and I think these 2 men will add to that. I don't know the Powers man, but I do know Clark Hollis. I've worked with Clark for years, several years.
2 fine men.
Yeah, and Clark is an active member in the Lions Club here also, right?
Yeah.
All right. Also under new business, any fire board thing to be discussed? Michael? Okay. Anybody else?
We got one more thing.
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
One other thing, I meant to say this while I stood up there. Most of y'all know Chief Underhill. He's a county fire chief. He's chief of his department. He's captain of the rescue squad. He's a volunteer among volunteers. In December, he was. I submitted some stuff to Senator Beavers, and she was very instrumental in this process, but the governor gave Chief Underhill the Colonel Aide de Camp Award. And there's not many of those given out in a year's time. So I appreciate if you take the time when you talk to him, just congratulate him on that. That we can't pay him any money because we ain't got nothing to give him.
You get a Colonel license plate to put on your car?
He gets a nice certificate.
Oh, well, they used to have Colonel license plates that you put on the car.
So if you want to refer to him as Colonel now.
You got a white suit. You gotta grow your beard.
Gotta grow a beard, got a white suit.
All right.
Jim, I'd like to have a consensus. You know, we've been talking about this ball field and all this and the wiring. We need a consensus before we leave here and the understanding that we need to get an independent inspector out there to look at the wiring and whatever needs to be fixed,
First, we need to get Middle Tennessee Electric or somebody like that.
Somebody
TVA or
that's
somebody to inspect.
not a private entity to go out and
It's
inspect.
in this company's best interest for the wiring to need to be fixed.
We just
In
need to
our
make
best
sure
You
what's
know what I mean?
safe.
Who, S&W?
S&W.
Oh,
If I'm
and
S&W, I want all the wiring to need to be fixed, right?
Yeah.
And if I'm the guy sitting over here,
You want to sell the wire?
I want to be the one that gets to fix all the wire. We need TVA or Middle Tennessee Electric, somebody to look at it and say,
So that we can be done with it and know we did the right thing.
it's safe or not safe.
And that way we can take bids.
And we can make a motion right now and to ask Mike to get that done.
Get it done.
Take bids on it.
ASAP.
Take your bid, and I
If it-
personally, I don't want to seem, like I'm disagreeing with somebody, but it doesn't really matter whether wiring is fixed on the ground or up on a bucket truck. I don't see the electric companies taking every pole that they work on down to work on. That's the reason they got bucket trucks.
Well,
Yeah.
It might
that
be
it-
quicker, I don't know.
I know,
There
well, right
that
now
is
it's in
made.
pole climbing class. They
Because
climb
they
it.
fit-
I know one thing on the ground,
when
you're
they were-
grounded.
When they were down, they was gonna be repaired when they were down, and that was my
When
Right.
you're on the
opinion.
But-
ground, you're grounded.
But anyway, what I'm, away from everything, I like to have a consensus. Everybody here.
Make a motion to have an independent inspector inspect the wiring
And then have bids.
Well, now, we had somebody inspect the poles, correct?
That's the pole, that's right.
But
They said nine
Then
of
that they volunteered in, with the Middle Tennessee Electric. man,
It's the same inspector inspected the poles that does the cab telephone and Middle Tennessee Electric's poles.
Right.
Inspected.
He's a TVA guy,
Does he inspect wiring also?
I don't know the answer to that.
but we know somebody that does know who to get.
Jim, are you making a
Yeah.
motion to get an independent person
Yeah.
to come in? I second that.
Okay.
And then we'll take bids
On
And-
anything that needs
on
fixing.
anything that needs fixing.
For safety issue,
Exactly.
not cosmetic.
That's right, not
Exactly.
cosmetic, just say that. And
Safe.
just cause a wire doesn't have any insulation on it does not mean that it's dangerous.
Well, would you have naked wire in your house?
There's naked wires all along the roads. They're all those big
ask that.
high.
They're strong naked.
They're strung naked. They're on insulators.
But they're so high up, no
Hey.
one's gonna touch them.
Hey.
Anyway.
look, all that matters is that we get somebody that knows what they're doing
That's
to
right.
look at it and say, this is safe for these kids to be under, or it's not.
But there's nothing safe when a storm comes now. If a storm
I
comes, they don't
agree.
need to be on the field
This-
around the chain link fence.
That we're going around here.
Okay, make a motion.
He made it.
Did.
He seconded.
Chuck
The motion's been made. Let me see if I can state it, Cynthia. To instruct the county to have the wiring at the light poles, at the ball fields, baseball fields, inspected for safety, and make sure, and take bids and get some, and after they're
Hey.
inspected, get bid, to
Strike
acquire
that,
bids.
strike the at the light poles out of that. Just have all the wiring at
All
the
the
ball
wiring.
fields checked, the boxes, everything down there.
That's
See
right.
what needs to be
The
fixed.
wiring, all the electric wiring at the ball fields be checked
Do-
for safety, and acquire bids to bring them up to codes if there's anything that's lacking.
And if that's already been done and it is safe, then we need somebody besides us and
Somebody
Mike
that's
to say it
certified.
is.
That's right.
Certified
If
in writing.
there's nothing
Yeah.
screwing in a
In
light bulb, I mean, you still gonna have
Do
to
you
get
do,
on.
or do you want to inspect it?
Somebody-
The electric
somebody-
or-
I'd rather have Middle Tennessee Electric.
Middle Tennessee Electric be fine.
Somebody's
If
not
they
gonna be
inspect
selling
wire.
wire.
I don't know if they inspect it, they may have.
Inspect poles.
You
the
did the
TVA
same
guy
thing
did the
down at
poles,
the
and you
football
check the
field. I
wire.
would suggest you do it there too.
That's
There's
what-
kids all around that.
How we got in.
You replace poles down there.
Trying to
a
cut
couple of
corners,
months,
and
just
we've got
a couple months
ourselves
ago,
a
looked at those poles,
pickle.
and wound up replacing 3 or 4 down there.
Okay.
Are there any
So
ball
all
fields
you got
inside
to go
down?
inspect everything.
Inspect everything, okay.
Just like we did last time?
All the poles, all the ball fields. We got one, before we vote, we got one more comment.
I want to know when the kids are actually going to get to start practicing on these fields.
They were down there last night.
They was practicing last night.
I've got 2 kids that play down there, and the coaches are calling the parents every week before practice, and they're canceling practice, and they keep saying it's due to the light pole issue. I have one that hasn't practiced at all and has a game in 2 weeks. Now, I know that it's got to be fixed, I'm not worried about that, but if we're having to pay for these kids to play and they're not getting to play, what's going to happen next? Because how are their games going to run if they're not practicing? and
Ma'am,
not
we
playing?
don't have no control over that.
You need to get a hold of your director over the
Hey,
ball
I-
fields and talk to her.
I'll say this about the getting the poles fixed and all that stuff. I would rather them not play a ball game all year is to be down there and want them to get hurt. So if it takes us padlocking the whole kit and caboodle down there, keep them from getting hurt. I know it. And,
Yes, ma'am.
and
Well, but see, this has been ongoing since Halloween.
since October.
First day of November, the day after Halloween,
And it shouldn't have went that long.
learned to
Well,
but that's.
I'll tell you
poles
what.
can't be replaced in the wintertime as quickly as they can.
4 months ain't a lot of time when it comes to government.
Okay.
It's pretty quick.
You
Also,
get
we
this
bring
many
those
good
poles
balls
down there.
involved in something.
If they didn't
4
hit any
months is
rock,
pretty
it would be
quick.
less than 16,
Okay,
8.
got a
but I
motion
hadn't heard
and a-
anything about it.
We got a motion and a second on the floor. Chuck made a second, right?
I did.
Okay. And you got it, Cynthia? Yes. All in favor, let me know by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? No. Ayes have it. Right down, unanimous, 9-0.
Can somebody get hold of Keith Reedy and let him know we just made that motion?
Right there's Keith.
No,
That was Tony Stennett.
Tony,
Can you tell Tony Stennett we made that motion?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, anything else under new business? Anybody?
Going once.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a adjourn.
Our next meeting will be in April, and it will be the daytime meeting, Saturday, April the, whatever.
What day is that?
Whatever, 19th, yeah, 19th, yeah.
That's my